So my name's Matt. I run a mortgage business, Heron Financial. We work really closely with Robsons. We've been running for about 6 years now. We're based in Rickmansworth. We have an office not far from the Robsons office. We primarily arrange mortgages. We arrange a lot of insurance business as well, and we work closely with Robsons on a lot of the clients that they look after. I guess the biggest reason to use a mortgage broker in this day and age is convenience. In the past, there's been a lot of conversations about rates, but I think clients are aware now that interest rates are as low as they've ever been. Interest rates are obtainable. The key now for most clients that we find, particularly in these areas where the majority of people that we deal with are very busy people, perhaps they're commuting or they're running their own business, they don't have an awful lot of time on their hands, is the convenience of being able to come and have a single meeting, talk to an advisor who can give you an expert opinion across a range of banks. I think the last time I checked we worked with something like 70 plus banks, and everybody is different. The idea that you can sit with one individual, take that advice, be steered in the right direction with regards to the mortgage that you need, and then allow that person to handle that process from start to finish, I think is probably what we find most people enjoy about working with us and find most useful. So we work really closely with Robsons, particularly the Rickmansworth branch, which is very close to our own office. We find that Robsons clients are of a particular level. We have to be able to react quickly because most of the properties that Robsons take on and sell are popular. There's a lot of interest, and what we find is that often people want to talk to us quickly before making an offer, just to make sure that they are in the best place financially. Whether that means that we're just backing up the decision that they've already made, they might already have arrangements in place and they just want to get an expert opinion as to whether they're in the right place, or whether they're looking for somebody to take on that mortgage arrangement for them and move forward. So we tend to work closely with Luke and his team in the office, and we like to help them essentially make sure that all of their clients are in the right place with regards to the mortgage. Really positive. The majority of the lenders at the moment have set targets for 2017, which probably run slightly beyond the lending figures that they had in 2016. They aren't anticipating much of a slowdown this year, which is always a good sign. You know, when you've got the banks knocking on our door, encouraging us to pass business to them, they all seem very keen to lend. At the moment, we've got a lot of new entrants into the mortgage market. There are something like 20 plus applications to become a bank. To get a banking license in the UK, and that's the most that there have ever been. So as well as your larger lenders, of which we'll all be well aware along the high street, there are an awful lot of new lenders wanting to enter the market, which for me is a great sign that the market's moving in that direction. I think being prepared is the key, particularly if you're looking at property through an agent like Robsons. I'll stress it again, these properties come on the market, they don't last long, because we are working in areas which are traditionally very competitive, properties very popular, you've got great schools, great transport in the area, which means that if you are prepared and you've done your homework and you've spoken to a solicitor, you've spoken to a mortgage advisor, whether it be somebody like us who can deal with all of the lenders or whether it be somebody else who perhaps is tied to one specific lender, I think that the key is really being prepared and knowing what's expected of you. Because when you get to that stage of making offers with an estate agent, they're going to move forward with a buyer who's ready to move and can move things quickly ordinarily. Because that's what we find at the moment is the expectation of Robsons and most of the agents that we deal with. So it's being prepared and having done your homework. We look at it holistically. So I think sometimes there's been some bad press associated with that sort of product, particularly you look at MPPI, that sort of stuff. Clients need to have the conversation, and we work very closely with all of our clients to look at their own scenario. We'll design a solution which works for them. It's not off the shelf. It's not just a white label product. We'll look across a range of insurers. We'll look at what that client needs. You know, different people have different needs. Are there school fees that need protecting? Is there a one main breadwinner in the household? Do they need to be protected more than the other? How big is the level of debt? And all of these things need to be considered. So as part of the mortgage conversation that we have, with every single client, irrespective of circumstances. We're going to explore what they need and design something which fits with their budget and is going to protect them and their family for years to come.